Hi, I'm Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. And I want to say a big welcome to all the new subscribers that have joined me this month. I'm really happy and appreciative that you're here, and I hope you're finding content that you enjoy also. I don't know about anybody else. August feels like it went by in a blur, but yet also felt like the longest month possible. And I don't know if anyone else is feeling like that. It was like I had all these plans and didn't get to half of them. In today's video, it is my monthly wrap up, which I forgot to say before I started. Yes, here we are, another month gone by. I'm going to talk about all things August, a little bit about personal updates, some other things I have going on, new additions, some show and tell. I'm going to talk about the deck study that I'm in my last week of, and I'm going to show some decks and the pairings and things like that that I use, my tarot journal, my new thing that I have going on here. I have so much to share with you today. So put me on in the background, listen to me chat, because a lot of it's going to be chatty. Get ready for a long-winded ramble here. I have so much to share. Let's start with personal life. It was a really busy month. I didn't get to half the things that I wanted to do this month. So the past week I have been playing catch up. And the reason it was busy is because we moved our son back into college for his third year. You know, you think, oh, just a couple days and that'll all be done. No, it was like a 2-week process of getting him organized and getting him ready. And anyone else here who's a parent or sent their kid off to school, I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from. It's just such an ordeal, but he's away. He's back at school now. It was also my 3-year channelversary here. For my 3 years, I created the hashtag My Tarot Identity. I want to thank those that played along so far in that hashtag. I've really enjoyed listening to your responses. I have shared every single one of those videos in my community posts. And I think I said this last month too. I am trying to post more in my community posts, whatever YouTube calls it now. Things that I'm doing, anything behind the scenes I want to share, videos to share, all kinds of things I'm sharing over there. So be sure to check that out. But anyway, I shared those videos over there. Plus, I decided to make a playlist of those just in case anybody else plays along, so you can see them all together in that playlist that I created. And I have a playlist for everything. And I try to slot my videos into playlists so they can be found somewhere. And sometimes I put videos in multiple playlists also. But yeah, I try to stay up on keeping my playlists updated. Also, this month, my brother and I's very first official episode launched for our The Seer and the Alchemist podcast that's here on YouTube. And I'm in front of the camera. I don't like it. I'm getting a little bit more used to it as we're filming episodes. We're still trying to find our flow and everything. So yeah, you can check us out. I always share those videos. They're also in my community tab here, or community posts here on YouTube. You can always check that out or get that link from there. And every time a new episode comes out, I do try to post that. I think that's it for personal. So I'm going to move on to talking about my Kofi page revamp and what that entails. And I know some may think, oh, this doesn't interest me, but there are some things that I'm going to be adding there that might interest you. And I'm just going to say that. Feel free to speed up, skip ahead, whatever you want to do, but there are things that may interest you in regards to that. I have neglected my Kofi page for well over a year. The link is in every description box of every video I've put up here on YouTube. And, you know, most see that as just a place that you can go and donate or tip a creator in some way. And that's true. I do have the tip option that's there and available. However, I know there are people that don't want to like join my Facebook group in order to like order readings and that off of me. And so I decided to start posting some readings on my commissions on my Kofi page. I'm not posting all my readings there. I am keeping some readings exclusive to my Facebook group and I know the majority of the people that watch me do tarot anyway and don't maybe buy readings from other people, but I wanted to share that anyway, that's going to be there. I am going to open up my shop. My shop is empty right now, but I am going to start creating some pendulums. I have some um, things on the way to me so I can make some new pendulums, but I make pendulums. This is some that I have made. I've showed my pendulums on my channel before, and I am going to make some of these and put them in my Kofi shop. However, I am only going to ship within the US right now. Everybody knows what's going on with the nightmare, with the tariffs and the postal things. It's sad what's happening. So unfortunately, I am currently limiting this to US customers only. But yeah, I'm going to put some of them in there. The chain is more substantial. This is kind of the standard chain that your pendulums come on. This is one that I bought, where I use a thicker chain and then add my beading and that sort of thing into it. And the ones I'm going to be creating won't be this long. I mean, this is really long. I think it's like 9 inches or something like that. I am going to try to shorten it by a couple inches, but I am going to be putting some of these in my shop. I'm hoping to have the pendulums in my shop by the beginning of October. I am also going to be creating some journals to put in my shop. Again, also selling to US customers only for right now. I have been a paper crafter for 30 years, and way longer than tarot have I been a paper crafter. I have been probably making journals for half of that amount of time. I've said on my channel before that I've done paper crafting. I've been published in magazines and that for my paper crafting. So I'm going to start making some journals and putting up in my shop. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. I love creating journals. It's going to give me a chance to get some of my stuff up there used up because I want to pare down my craft room, which takes up an entire bedroom. But yeah, I want to pare down that stuff. And so those are going to be going in my shop. Another thing I'm going to do with my Kofi page is every single week I do weekly videos for my Facebook group of the energy for the week. You know, what's possibly coming up. I use different decks every time, different combination of decks, a different style of reading every single time that I do those monthly. And in case you don't want to watch them or go to my Facebook group and join it to watch those are now going to be on my Kofi feed for free. No charge, no nothing to watch those. If you want to tip, that's fine, but you don't have to. Those are going to be on my Kofi feed with a link to an unlisted video that you can watch. I have tried putting those here on my channel. All it does is tank the algorithm of my channel. And then it's twice as hard for me to work back up to where I was prior to that video. So I've decided not to publicly list those anymore, but I still want to be able for more people to see them. Every time I launch one of those, it will be on my post with the link that you can go and watch it. So I'm also going to be doing that. And the final thing that I'm going to be adding in eventually to my Kofi page, I've talked numerous times on here about thinking of starting memberships. I can't. I want to so badly. There are so many videos that I want to share in a member space that I would not share publicly. And I just don't have the time to do that. And the last thing I want to do is start collecting membership fees from people and not have the content to back it up. I don't feel right about any of that sort of thing. So I'm trying to compromise with myself. And there are certain videos that I'm going to put up under my commissions page on Kofi that you can a one-time purchase to watch. And these are tutorial style videos, and it's going to be for a very minimal fee. It's not going to be anything outrageous or expensive. It would be less than what I would be charging for a membership tier. And the thing with that is, once you get the link sent to you for that video, you'll have it forever to watch whenever you want to. Unlike if you're behind a membership paywall, once you leave that membership, you lose access to those tutorials. So I am going to start putting out tutorial videos. Not a lot. I mean, right now I have plans for 2 of them. And those are going to be coming soon. And I'll explain more about those when the time comes. So that's what's going on with my whole Kofi page revamp. I'm nervous and excited about it at the same time. So that's all that I am going to say about that. So let's do a little bit of show and tell, and then we're going to get into decks. I was sent this book by the author Rose Quinn, who is self-publishing this book, The Busy Lazy Green Witch, a no-nonsense guide to green witchcraft and magic for the modern witch on the go. I got this in literally the week that I was trying to pack my son up to get his butt off to college, basically. So I have not had a chance to dive in and read this yet. It's only 169 pages, so I'm hoping to have this done and read in the next couple weeks, and then I'm going to come back and give a full review on this. If anybody ever does want to send me something to review, you can always reach out to me in my email, which is listed in the description box of every single video. Also, look at this beauty right here. This is my new grimoire that I have created. This was my old. This is my old grimoire, and while it's not completely filled up, I'm kind of done with this for right now. I don't know if there's anything, like I did some artwork in here. I've had this one for years. I started creating this. So I do artwork in here. I have a section. This is a book that I gutted, and then I put the binding on that you just slip pages in. Here on the spine, you can just slip things in. So while I love this, and this is going to get taken off of here, but while I love this, it's big and it's bulky, and I wanted something smaller, a little bit more manageable. I love everything about that book. It just screams pure good witchiness to me, and that I love. But I am going to retire that for now, and I'm going to transfer some things into here. I just did this the other day. This is what it originally looked like. I want to say this is put out by Michaels. This is one of their bullet journals, and I just covered the front with some scrapbook paper, tea-dyed paper, and then layered on my stickers. I love everything about it. It just screams witch in the woods. And then this is my first page, and I'll write my little dedication to this book here. And then I already transferred over my abundance bowl that I do every single year, and what I've done, my personal gnosis in regards to that. I have my, whoops, that came off, my little black salt recipe that I created for myself. I looked up all kinds of different black salt recipes and then came up with one that I feel, works best for me. But I'm really excited. I'm going to be transferring some of the things, like my references, into the back here for like candle magic and some of the herbs that I use on a regular basis. I'm going to stick back here so I can just quickly reference it. But yeah, this is going to be my little kind of like my little spell book, and I don't know, we'll see. So I love everything about this cover of this book. And right when I started filming, I got in this little package. This is from V Love Crystals. She is on Etsy, and I ordered, so I'm going to open this here with you guys. I ordered that coffee deck. I originally saw this coffee deck on Robin's channel. I will read that later. I originally saw this coffee deck on Robin's channel and fell in love with it there. And then I think it was Shanna, and she sent these two little extras here, little stones and like this little pendulum point. But then I think it was Shanna who also showed this deck, and I just thought this would be a great deck to sit right on my end table where I have my morning coffee and to pull a card, not necessarily to journal, just to pull a card to give me the energy of the day. Oh my gosh, I think this is so sweet and adorable. I love it. She has all kinds of different decks on her Etsy shop. She has a website also called Baby Aves or babyavis.com. So you can check her out. It's V Love and Crystals. And I can't wait to just pull a card from this in the morning. I just think this is a sweet little deck. I'm a big coffee drinker, so to have this, I was thrilled. And I can't remember how many cards are in this. I want to say 50, but I don't know if that's right. And there's no box. It just comes in this little organza bag, and that's fine with me. I don't necessarily need a box for it. Let's put these crystals down in here. Another deck I got in is the Trionfi della Luna Tarot by Patrick Valenza. This is the mass market edition put out by US Games. I adore this deck. You know, it's so funny. I talked about Deviant Moon Tarot and how I rejected that deck like right away until I got it. And then I loved everything about it after I started reading with it. And it's the same with this one. I was so excited when I saw this come out. I love this so much, and I've read with it. It's just as sassy as the Deviant Moon Tarot is for me. So it's going to be really fun to see what I get with this as I play around with it more. And somebody had just commented on my Tarot and Magic video, my last one. I think they said that they used this deck for their magic. And I think it would be fantastic to use in a magical situation. It would really bring something to that kind of spell work. Oh, this is so cool. And I'm sure everybody's seen it before because this was an independent deck. So it's really exciting to be able to have this. Now, I am completely obsessed with Patrick Valenza's artwork right now. I am loving every bit of it. So at the time I'm filming this, we are in our last week of my Rhythm and Soul deck study. There's only a couple of us doing it. Maybe three. Maybe. It doesn't matter. Anyway, this deck has become so special to me thanks to doing this deck study. I see this in a completely different light than when I first got it in. I'm thinking about doing a really short video about my experience with this deck and the deck study and the things that I took away from it. I can tell you that this deck now is going into my ancestor deck rotation. Everything about this deck so far screams ancestor work to me, and that's really something special when I want to move a deck into that category where I feel that I can use this to communicate with my ancestors, that I can use this to get messages, specific messages from specific loved ones, etc. Spirit communication. I know everybody on here calls this ancestor work, and I get that ancestor work goes back generations, But I've been talking to spirits for so long, everything lumps under the category of spirit communication for me by doing mediumship and that. So I don't, whatever label you want to stick to it. I'm not choosy here. I don't care. So, but this is, yeah, my new ancestor deck. And like I said, I think I'm going to do just a short little video about working with this deck. But I'm going to move on to the decks that I used in my practice. And I'm going to be showing the deck pairings I used in client readings and like my week ahead readings and that. The decks that I used for myself were, of course, the Rhythm and Soul Tarot, which I did some readings with that. It goes this way. Woven Spirit Oracle, Cosmic Crossroads, and then my Light and Shadow decks, which are the Divine Feminine and the Divine, or Wisdom of the Divine Shadow, or Wisdom of the Shadow. You know, every month, people, that I get this wrong every single month. Wisdom of the Divine Feminine. This is an independent. They just did a Kickstarter that's over now, but they just did one for miniature decks of this, and Wisdom of the Shadow. So these were the 4 cards that came out to represent my energy for the month of August. So I started out the very first of the month. I pulled the kindness card, wrote all the things down about kindness, did a reading using the Light Seers Tarot, which I'll pair those up in a minute to see, where kindness was going to be coming forward. So this was all about kindness, love, compassion, and your heart chakra. Then we have the compassion card that came out for my light card. And then we have the boundaries card that came out with the whole, get away from me kind of thing for my shadow card. And then this wisdom card came out. So the wisdom, you would think, was wisdom, intellect, knowledge, that sort of thing. But the write-up in the book talked about wisdom to know who to let into basically your personal space, and about whether or not your heart was open or closed. I could not believe how cohesive all the messages were and how they all played into one another. And for me, those are my favorite types of readings. Those are the readings that, make the hair stand up on my arms a little bit, because they were all pulled at different times and they were all pulled for different reasons, but yet they all had a similar message that all wove in to each other. And then my omens had some things about the heart chakra in it. It also had about, opening yourself to love. There was just different aspects from different things that all played a major role for the month of August. And I just went to my good old light seers. I just wanted to go back to something that was easy. I didn't want to pull a deck out that I didn't know very well. And I just used the light seers if I was using a tarot to gain any more information about the reading that I was doing with the oracles that I was using. And you can see that it pairs beautifully. I have only one thing that I don't care for regarding the Cosmic Crossroads Oracle. Some of the cards has the keyword up here. Then other cards has the keyword down here. And when I'm in the middle of a reading and I have like multiple cards out, that bothers me, because I start to look at the top because that's where the keyword was on the last one, but then the next one, the keyword's at the bottom. That's the only thing. And that's very minor, and that's my own issue. But that's the only thing with this, is some of them, I don't know why it's not all at the bottom or all at the top. So, but I really like this deck. And the write-up for the wisdom card completely shocked me. It was not what I was expecting whatsoever. So, and it was really cool to see the cohesiveness, like I said a moment ago, all those cards and how they played off of one another for the entire month. So the 3 decks that I paired together when doing client readings or week ahead readings are the Earth Magic Oracle by Stephen D. Farmer. This is an OG. This is old. This is very old Oracle deck. This is put out by Hay House. The Book of Shadows Tarot Volume 2. This is the So Below deck by Barbara Moore. And Ari Janello is the art by the artwork. And Ari Weisner, Find Your Own Way Oracle. This is also by Hay House. I just got this in my last Hay House order that I got. So this is how I use these. Every month I do something different, but I always do a combination of Oracle and Tarot. And I really have been loving using Oracle at the start and Oracle at the end. And the Oracle at the end is the takeaway message for the entire reading. So this would be the energy that's coming in that needs, I use this as the energy that needed stabilized for the week. That's what this deck was used for. The first tarot card is why this energy is coming forward needing stabilized. The second tarot card is answering to the emotion that is influencing this energy. And then the third tarot card is the action that you need to take in order to navigate or stabilize this energy. That's how I did the readings for clients in August. And then this was the takeaway. So the energy that needed stabilized was unfoldment. There's things that's unfolding in your life that may be causing some sort of imbalance that's occurring. So the 10 of Swords would be why. And of course, the 10 of Swords is because you're at your lowest. So things are unfolding that maybe are going to bring you up and out of that 10 of Swords moment. And then the 7 of Pentacles for the emotional undercurrent is before you act, before you do anything, you need to rebalance yourself and think about what your next steps are. Don't rush forward. Don't go backwards either, but you need to stay in the present and really think about what's happening. And then what do we have here? Justice is the action. You know what's right. You know what's best for you. You know that you need to be accountable for your actions, that sort of thing. So those would have been the 3 cards. And then spinning gold is the takeaway message to that. And even though things may have felt like what was unfolding was creating some sort of chaos or dragging you down in some way, it's really for your highest good. It's really bringing you up into the next level, and that you can make something out of this. You're basically rising from those ashes with that 10 of Swords and that Phoenix image that was on there. So that's how I did it. It really brought forward some fantastic messages. I really like this pairing. I sometimes forget about this deck because I have 200 decks, 200 plus decks, and the majority of those are Oracle decks. I have more Oracle than I have tarot. So I don't always pull out my OG Oracles, but I don't know, something was just calling to me to pull this one out. I like to use this one right around the end of summer. I've done that before. So it was fun to get this back out and use it. And it, like I said, paired great with this. Karma, the 6 of Swords, and Release Shame. I like that pairing there also. So yeah, this was a fun grouping to play around with. I really do love and adore this So Below tarot. I can't believe it's taken me so long to get this one. I don't know if I want the As Above or not. I think it would be cool to kind of do a reading like As Above, use that deck, So Below, use that deck. But I don't know. I'm really enjoying this one. I think it's going to pair with a bunch of different oracles that I have. So let me know if you have the As Above tarot, how you feel about it. Do you think I need it? I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Hopefully when I edit this, I edit it down to roughly that 30 or 40-minute mark. I try to keep my videos no longer than that. So, because I know how busy I am, and I take into account how busy you are too. Let me know in the comments below the decks that you use. Let me know if you got any new things in the month of August, and maybe how you're using them. I'd love to hear that from you. Let me know if you've paired any of these decks together or used any of these decks. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you being here. Don't forget to keep an eye on my community posts here on my YouTube channel. I am really trying hard to keep those updated on things I've got going on, links to different videos, or whatever I'm going to be doing. Everything will be there first before I get a chance to make a video on it. So keep an eye on that here on my channel. I've talked so long, I don't know what I'm saying, but did I say thanks for hanging out with me? I think I did. So until I see you next time, bye.